Morning, everybody. I've been out here pretty much all morning, and I haven't filmed anything because what I've been doing I thought was going to be really difficult, and I guess it was because I spent the whole morning getting it done. I found me 2 bolts that fit the hole in the frame, and I welded another bolt to the top of them. There. So I found a bolt that would go down through the hole in the frame and fit pretty snug. I welded this bolt on here so that when I turn this bolt up inside the frame, this bolt won't turn. And I wound a piece of welding wire around that, and I threaded that up inside the frame. And I wasn't sure this was going to work. Actually, a guy on YouTube suggested I use a piece of welding wire. I know they make these little spring-looking things that are specifically made to do this, and I didn't have one. But I used that piece of welding wire right there, and I pulled this up in here, and now I should be able to pull the wire off and get a nut onto that. And then what I'm going to do is put that trailer hitch piece onto that, and this one here I can put a carriage bolt into and it will stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to film this because it's too complicated to try to do it and hold the camera at the same time, but I will set you here. I think you can sit right there while I reach up in here, pull this down, pull this wire out without letting that bolt slip back up in there. That is the plan. They wound up wishing I'd used a longer bolt, but I had one longer bolt, but I couldn't find a match to it. That's a pretty good bit hanging out of there though. And I'm just going to put this nut right on the end of that one to hold it. What I want to do is, when I get ready to put that trailer hitch piece up in there, I'll get a goodly sized lock washer to go up in there on that too. This will hold it in place. While I get the other one in the other frame rail. So that's a bolt there for the trailer hitch. And actually, here's the trailer hitch piece here. It should go up in here. Oh, about like this. I don't think I can necessarily hold it in the exact right spot here. Well, if I had the washer, I could almost put that in place. I ought to bring that carriage. I ought to get that carriage bolt into here first. Let me put y'all down. Let me put you down, get set up, and we'll come back. Okay. So I've got one side done, and the frame is going to go. The trailer hitch frame will attach to those bolt holes back there. And now I got to do the same thing on the other side over there. And in my opinion, I think that's the hardest part of putting this on here is getting the bolts up into those holes inside that frame and everything. Seriously, well, more than seriously, I was thinking I'd just take the back bumper off to do this and give me a little easier shot into the back of that frame. But even with all that oil up in there, the bolts are still, stuck enough. And what really stopped me is the head of the bolt on this side was worn off, stripped. Somebody must have tried to get that off before. I couldn't get a wrench to stay on it, so that kind of defeated that. But that's one side, so I'll go to work on the other side, and I'll come back and we'll talk some more once we get to a place where there's something to talk about there. Okay. I did say I'd come get you when there was something more to show you. Well, I've got both sides on here. So this is one side attached to the frame, and the other side attached to the frame. And that was a lot of work and very tricky because I had to run those bolts up inside the frame, especially these ones way back there. And I had to modify those bolts. I showed y'all how I did that. These here were carriage bolts, so just getting them in place was easier, but it was still tricky. So what happens now is that this part that's hanging down here is where the trailer hitch arms are going to go. And because this is kind of like a universal trailer hitch, what I mean by that, it's not just made for a particular vehicle, it's made for several different adaptations. There's a lot of little adjustments on it. For example, these arms adjust in, out, and the part that's going to attach is this part right here on the side. So there's also a bolt here and a bolt here. So I'm going to take all those bolts out, take these two arms over there, get them in position, and then we'll take a look at what we need to do from there. Okay, this is roughly how this will go here. This piece will go up here, and there'll be 4 bolts to hold that in place. There'll be one just like it over here, and then the hitch will go right in the middle here. Yep. So I'm going to need probably 4 smaller bolts, although I'm going to need to also figure out there's a hole through here that needs to match up with some holes in that hitch. So I may want to probably find me some small bolts for these holes out here to kind of roughly hold that into place while I'm figuring out how to get everything lined up right. And then we can go from there. Okay, let's talk about this. One of the things that I thought might turn out to be necessary is that I might have to cut the bumper to get that to go up in there. Now you notice the reese sign is upside down. I think this hitch was designed to hang down the other way. If I could get these side arms to go up higher, then I could flip it that way. But I can get one side to go up beside the frame, but the other side wouldn't fit over here. If I reversed, see, I could reverse these arms so that they hung to the inside instead of the outside. But even if I did that, it would not fit between the gas tank and the frame. So what I'm going to do is mount it like this, but I'm going to have to cut this bumper. You can see where the reese hitch it comes to. In order to get it to go up level, I'm going to take out about, I bet about 1 inch of that bumper right there and right there. Just take my grinder and I'll just cut a section out, and that way I can push that up in there. This does hang down a little low, but one of the things I was reading about is that from the 93 models on, they had some concerns about the gas tank, and one of the fixes for that was to put a bumper hitch back here. By having it hang down right where it does, it comes just about enough so that this hitch would guard that gas tank. In other words, the bottom of this is just about level with the bottom of the tank, so that it does serve the purpose of guarding that gas tank. Which I don't think it was required on the 92 model, and I'm not sure what the difference was. One of the YouTubers is the one that told me about this, and he said when I looked it up, it was the 93 through some other model, maybe 97 or something, that they had a recall on them because of the gas tank being in a hazardous location, and the fix for it was to put a trailer hitch on there, which would reinforce and guard around the gas tank. So anyway, I don't think mine required that, but it's a little extra safety there anyway, and I think having this hang down just a hair is probably not going to cause me any concern. So What I may do is just, right now everything is, the side mounts are bolted up solid to the frame, but the little bolts on the side there are still loose. So what I may do is just grab my little grinder, mark me a line in the center, measure out on both sides, and then cut about 1 inch out of that bumper, and then ease that up into place there and see if that'll give me about the right amount so that I can slide this other piece over here in and then attach it up in here. Okay, so I'll get my grinder and we'll do that. Oh, the joy.